It all started with an image of a cool device I found online. I need it. Which was just a render, a non-existing Bluetooth speaker I couldn't actually buy. And when I can't buy something I actually want, I just build it. So quite fast the image turned into a SolidWorks project with a bunch of components I intended to 3D print. As for electronics, part of it was harvested from old headphones, which definitely lost their original appearance, so I wasn't using them. And another part of electronics I designed by myself. Initially, headphones are controlled with a couple of tiny buttons, which are just too small for my big fingers, so I intended to replace them with regular keyboard switches. But, as always, by accident, I ordered magnetic switches instead, that have a spring-loaded magnet inside and require a magnetic field sensor. For example, a Hall sensor or TMR sensor. And when I received all the parts I needed, I started assembling all that crap together. Actually, at the beginning I was thinking of putting all the electronics into a transparent case, which, clearly speaking, looks mesmerizing, but then I realized that it only works when electronics inside is also beautiful. In case of harvested headphone parts, it's not the case. Haha. It rather looks like a mess, so it's better to hide it. That's why I went with white non-transparent parts, which also look very nice. So to assemble the main parts together, this time I decided to use 2.5mm threaded inserts, which I must say are suitable for some ASMR content. But don't worry, grey goo is also going to be present in the video later, to glue some parts together. As it's my first time trying to heat set the inserts, I don't even know what temperature I should use, so I start with the lowest my soldering iron can do, which is 150 degrees Celsius. For an insert with a diameter of 3mm, I made a 2.7mm hole, which turned out to be a bit too big. Could have been 2.5 or even 2.4. I used 2.7 because some people on Reddit suggested using 0.9 times the outer diameter. But eventually it didn't matter that much, because all the inserts were held in place quite strongly, so nothing to worry about. Personally, I feel very safe about it. By the way, if you know whether I should rotate the insert during the process or not, write it in the comments. If rotated, it just seems to go in much faster. By the way, most 3D printed parts you see were made by the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. Even though now a lot of people have 3D printers at home, most still cannot do high quality resin printing like that at home, as well as transparent parts, not to mention CNC machined parts, which for example I needed for several previous projects, but PCBWay can produce them. Actually, they can make almost anything you might need from different materials and of very high complexity. For example, find me another company that can make a 60-layer PCB. So reference link for PCBWay is in the description. So those two parts I just use as covers for the speakers. First of all to protect them, second to hide them. Then there are several parts without any functionality actually, just for the look. Now when the case is kinda ready, let's check how the electronics of the whole device work. I use two 4-ohm speakers with a rated power of 3 watts connected to the amplifier. That amplifier can deliver up to 3.7 watts on a 3-ohm load, so it should work just fine in my case. So with just two speakers and the amplifier board, it works just fine. Now I need to connect the magnetic keyboard to it, but first let's remind ourselves a bit of the physics that's going on behind the magnetic keyboard. You see, to trigger the Hall sensor you need a relatively small flux density. Several milliteslas is a typical value, so to be sure about the distance you need to use a formula specified in the datasheet to find out the dimensions of the magnet. Or if you already have some magnet, to design some spacer for the switch so it triggers at the distance you want. In my case, I miscalculated just a bit, and the switch works fine only when it's not fully inserted into the PCB, which is obviously not good. If I push it till the end, the button is always in an on state. The most obvious solution to the problem is to add another PCB as a spacing part, but as you might have guessed, it creates another problem. Parts don't actually fit together anymore and the USB-C port is misaligned. The solution to that is to push the board deeper inside the case, which creates a gap between the other edge of the case and the PCBs. Yeah, that's what we can call an avalanche process, when one problem creates a bunch of new ones and by fixing new ones another and another problem is created. But I feel myself very confident about fixing all of them. So let's start with the first one. Gluing two PCBs together and moving the USB-C connector to a new place, so it matches the cutout. After finishing, I left the whole thing drying for one night, and in the morning I found out that the grey goo was still not hard. This time I was using new grey goo, because the old one expired, and I guess, as always, I forgot to read the datasheet, which clearly says it doesn't cure at room temperature. So while it was taking a heat bath for half an hour, I designed a part that should cover the gap here. And, ladies and gentlemen, this day is marked as red in my calendar, because today I lose my 3D printing virginity by using my new 3D printer for the first time, which I received just this week. It only took 7 minutes to make this part, and while working the printer was doing some dances, shaking a lot. That's why I think the perfect name for it would be Earth Shaker. Or maybe Pupa, because it poops a lot when changes filaments. Or if you have a better name for it, write it in the comments. Okay, but seriously, I don't know whether I should put it on the ground or just reduce the printing speed, or maybe keep it as it is. Because it seems the part came out to be quite accurate. Dimensions are very close to the ones from SolidWorks, and I see no huge defects in it caused by shaking. Anyway, now I just need to glue this part to the PCBs. But before that, some more modifications to the PCBs have to be done. As for the USB-C connector, I had to do some surgical precision soldering to connect it electrically to the pads, and then secure it with some grey goo, again. Before putting everything inside, let's not forget to check how it works. Now, after being sure everything works, let's put everything inside.
Battery high.
I want to be clear with you. The sound quality is probably a bit worse than of some cheap Bluetooth speaker you can buy at nearest store, but how cool it looks! And those keyboard switches are actually so satisfying to press. So yeah, I just like how it came out and I hope you do like it too. As always, 3D models are on my Patreon, and don't forget to check out my other videos, they are quite nice. Love you, bye!